When it comes to professional wrestling, opinions often create as much buzz as the matches themselves. Recently, WWE Hall of Famer and wrestling veteran Bully Ray shared his candid thoughts on the latest edition of Friday Night SmackDown, leaving fans talking across social media and wrestling forums. According to the former multi-time tag team champion, certain matches on the episode were doomed from the start, not because of the talent involved, but because of the way the show was stacked with segments, stars, and ongoing storylines. This bold claim sparked discussion among wrestling fans worldwide, who have grown accustomed to SmackDown delivering blockbuster moments week after week. But when a wrestling mind like Bully Ray points out potential flaws, it forces everyone to take a closer look at what worked, what didn't, and why. In this article, we'll dive into Bully Ray's remarks, analyze the matches and booking decisions he was referencing, explore how WWE's current creative direction might impact both talent and fans, and provide a deep reflection on the balance between storytelling and match quality. The atmosphere around WWE SmackDown. SmackDown, often billed as the Blue brand, has been on an incredible run since moving to Fox. With major stars such as Roman Reigns, The Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Kevin Owens, and others regularly appearing, WWE has been treating every episode like a mini pay-per-view. That level of star power has its advantages: huge ratings, constant fan engagement, and moments that trend globally on social media. However, the downside is clear too: not every match can get the spotlight it deserves. This is the exact point Bully Ray addressed. In his view, when you overload a show with too many big names and headline angles, the matches placed lower on the card are automatically fighting an uphill battle. The audience, both live and at home, may be so emotionally invested in the big stories that smaller or mid-card bouts risk becoming forgettable. Bully Ray's core argument. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, a show where he regularly shares his brutally honest takes on wrestling, Bully Ray explained why he believed several matches on SmackDown were set up to fail. He said, "Greater than, when you've got a show that's this stacked, with Roman's segment, Bloodline drama, Cody getting his spotlight, LA Knight cutting promos, and a big women's division storyline, you're leaving very little emotional room for the other matches to breathe. That doesn't mean the talent didn't perform, it just means they were doomed in terms of crowd response." In simpler terms, Bully wasn't criticizing the wrestlers themselves. Instead, his issue was with the way WWE structured the show. To him, it wasn't about effort, it was about context. Which matches felt doomed? While Bully Ray didn't call out every single match by name, fans quickly speculated which bouts he was referring to. Based on the flow of the episode, 3 segments stood out as likely candidates. 1. A mid-card singles match involving 2 rising stars, talents who have been gaining momentum on the brand were placed in the first hour, but their match came right after a hot opening segment involving the Bloodline. The crowd energy dipped noticeably, even though the action in the ring was solid. 2. A women's division showcase bout. While WWE has invested more into the women's roster lately, this particular match was slotted awkwardly between 2 high-profile promos. As a result, the crowd seemed distracted, with many fans on their phones or heading to concessions. 3. A tag team contest that lacked story build-up. Despite featuring talented wrestlers, the match had little storyline importance. On a night where Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes dominated the narrative, this contest simply couldn't grab the spotlight. Fans online echoed Bully's observations, pointing out that no matter how strong the in-ring performance, certain matches felt like filler because of how much bigger the rest of the card was. The double-edged sword of stacked shows. WWE has always walked a fine line between delivering star-studded shows and maintaining balance for the entire roster. On one hand, SmackDown being stacked is a positive sign. It means WWE is treating weekly TV as must-watch, not just as a build-up to premium live events. On the other hand, overloading the show risks leaving certain wrestlers in the shadows. Bully Ray's comments highlight a real challenge for WWE creative. How do you keep stars like Roman Reigns front and center while still giving mid-card talent meaningful time? How do you prevent promising wrestlers from looking less important simply because of match placement? This is not a new issue. In wrestling history, from WCW Nitro to WWE Raw during the Attitude Era, shows packed with megastars often left undercard matches struggling. Fans came for the big names, but those rising talents still needed space to shine. Fans react online. As expected, Bully Ray's take spread quickly online. On Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube wrestling channels, fans debated the issue heavily. Some agreed wholeheartedly, suggesting WWE should save certain dream matches for pay-per-views, and not burn them out on weekly TV. Others argued that stacked shows are better than the alternative, weak, predictable episodes that lack energy. One fan wrote on Reddit, "He's right. I love seeing Roman, Cody, and LA Knight, but sometimes I forget who else wrestled that night because their matches felt overshadowed." Another countered, "I'd rather have too much star power than too little. If some matches feel doomed, so be it. At least the overall show is entertaining." This split reflects the larger wrestling community. WWE has to balance episodic television entertainment with long-term talent development, and that's easier said than done. The talent perspective. From the wrestler's point of view, being placed on a stacked show can be both an opportunity and a frustration. On one hand, performing on the same night as Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes guarantees a larger audience. On the other, it's difficult to stand out when the crowd is already drained from blockbuster segments. Several current WWE stars have commented in the past about crowd energy being unpredictable. Sometimes, even great matches fail to connect live because of their placement on the card. This doesn't mean the wrestlers are failing, it simply means timing is everything. Bully Ray, having worked for decades in ECW, WWE, and TNA Impact Wrestling, understands this dynamic deeply. His criticism isn't about effort, it's about strategy. Could WWE fix this issue? So, what's the solution? Bully Ray suggested that WWE should pay closer attention to pacing. Instead of stacking 3 or 4 massive segments back to back, spreading them across the night could give other matches room to breathe. Some possible adjustments might include opening with a big segment, but immediately following with a strong mid-card match that has storyline investment. Saving one major angle for later in the show, creating space for the audience to reset. Giving undercard talent promo time before their matches, making the audience care more about the outcome. These adjustments wouldn't lessen star power, they would simply ensure that every match has its own moment.